Yes, I'll go first. My name's Helen Harris. I'm the Macmillan Clinical Lead Occupational Therapist within Hywel Dda.
Hi, my name's Chris Richards. I'm a therapy assistant practitioner working within the Prostate Active Care Together team within Hywel Dda.
So our main challenge really was, I think, having come from a neurology background, prostate cancer is one of the most prevalent cancers in Hywel Dda NHS Trust, which is, I think, the same in many other trusts as well. Um, we work across a vast rural area in Hywel Dda, and we were getting patients coming through our multidisciplinary team every week with side effects which people were struggling with, such as things like fatigue, anxiety, not able to exercise, poor nutrition. Um, and I think as a clinician, hearing patients struggling every week, for us it was a challenge, and we were wondering what we could do to support these patients. And again, our main challenge was the fact that they could live up to, round trip could be 4 hours away for us to go out to meet these patients face to face. Um, so yes, this is how the Prostate Active Care team, I think, began. And that was our main challenge when we first started the project.
Our video group consultation that we put in place was designed for newly diagnosed prostate cancer patients. So we wanted to help them at the very beginning of their journey, to help them understand um, a little bit about their diagnosis, what they could expect, but also more importantly, what they could do in preparation, ideally before, during, and after treatment. So we created a discussion board. On that discussion board, we had their continence, their sexual health, their physical activity, their fatigue. Um, we also had, what else did we have on there, Helen? I can't think off the top of my head. How they were
Uh,
feeling, how they were feeling as well, wasn't it? Their well-being, wasn't it? On their finances as well. And it was just about what they could do to, they could pick a topic on that board, discuss it. We could obviously try and give them the information that we had, any way we can help them, or provide services that could help them a bit further. And obviously sometimes that service could be ourselves, other times it could be other places. But also what was quite good is patients engaging with one another as well. Some of them may have already been down that road already and already have some of the answers.
so they were mainly, we always made sure that we had two clinicians within the delivery team. It would either be an occupational therapist, a physiotherapist, dietitian, or Chris, who was a therapy assistant practitioner. We also had, so we always had two clinicians, and then we would have our virtual coordinator as well. And she is a virtual coordinator for the trust. So that was our main team. I think, you know, for us, it was really good because our virtual coordinator would start the sessions off with the patients and go through the board and discuss sort of any concerns or areas of topics they wanted to discuss, as Chris has mentioned. And then, it would save us clinician time at the start to get the sort of the questions ready for us. So we were able to come in then and answer the questions needed and support patients really with things like physical activity, their well-being, their nutrition. And I think mostly it was in support in relation to their treatment side effects as well, things like fatigue, anxiety. We also invited at the end of these group sessions, we tended to invite other people in, such as the Maggie's Cancer Charity from Swansea. They used to come in as well. And things like the CAP service, psychological support service. So, if there was any areas that patients really needed information on, we used to invite other teams in at the end as well, which patients found really helpful when they were newly diagnosed prostate cancer patients.
All patients who came under us would fill out a patient-reported outcome measure. So that gave us a good idea of where they were and what areas they could improve on. And as we've already said, we're focused across occupational therapy, dietetics, and physiotherapy. So there's 3 core professions that we could focus on and help people with prostate cancer improve. And from the assessment to discharge, what we have found is there's been a 60% improvement on people's health. That's what they've reported to us, and a 9-point average on the EQ 5D 5L scores. So it does show that what we are delivering is causing some positive impacts for the patients that we are seeing.
Yes, so from an efficiency point of view, I think our service has improved because we cover, as a team, the whole health board, which for myself, for example, it could mean potentially travelling up to 4 hours to see a prostate cancer patient, for example, in Aberystwyth, because I'm in Carmarthenshire. I'm able to see, well, it's not just myself, us as a whole team, we're able to see patients more timely, more, more timely, and we're able to see patients a lot more as well because we're seeing them virtually. Patients have also reported benefits that, they don't have to travel up to 2 hours to come and see us. I think patients have praised that to us as well, that they're more comfortable in their own home. They're happy with that they don't have to park, for example, or take maybe up to an hour to park, for example, to come and see it. So that's been a massive benefit to us. From a service point of view and from a patient point of view as well, I think that, seeing patients together as, I suppose, as an MDT, we're sort of reducing the amount of uniprofessional appointments. So before we did group consultations, the patient might have one appointment with myself for occupational therapy. They would have a different appointment for physiotherapy and different appointment again for dietetics. So now we're finding we're reducing the patient's needs, I suppose, are being met in the first group. And then from there, they may go on to one-to-one appointments. But, we're reducing that initial assessments that we're doing. And, patients do praise that they, don't want to repeat their story or their cancer journey 3-4 times. They want to just tell their story once. They want to be listened to. So that's, I suppose, one really good quality and efficiency that ourselves and the patients have reported. Yes, and again, just to reiterate really that I'm definitely finding, and the team, that we're seeing a lot more patients through the day. Now we're doing virtual groups because we can see up to 9 patients on the group at one time over a 90-minute session. Where, if you can imagine, if we were doing one-to-one, I suppose, clinics with each of these patients, maybe we'd be able to fit in, 6 maximum during a day. Well, we might possibly now be able to see 9 in one group in the morning, and then obviously we can see more patients in the afternoon as well. Another benefit or efficiency, I suppose, and the quality from the patient's point of view is that they have said how much they have enjoyed, interacting with other prostate cancer patients in their journey from diagnosis. We've had a lot of patients that have asked permission for each other's emails addresses. They've kept in touch and they have buddied up and supported each other on their journeys. So that's been lovely to hear. And we also have probably should mention this earlier, we have got a patient satisfactory questionnaire as well. So we have had a lot of patients that have filled that in, saying how grateful they are that they've had that initial support at the start of their journey. And sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot now, but another quality improvement would be that our cancer nurse specialists are always telling us that we're reducing the patients, I suppose, coming into the hospital to see them with their concerns with the side effects of treatment, and they're coming to see us instead. So we're actually reducing the impact on the hospitals and the GP surgeries as well, and reducing the carbon footprint because patients can sit at home while they come to our clinics. We have some really positive stories that we've had from patients having gone through virtual group sessions with ourselves as a team. For example, I have one gentleman who was newly diagnosed at the start of the year, and he has, as soon as he was diagnosed, his anxiety levels, I suppose, had gone through the roof. And being somebody who's newly married, he had lost interest, I think, in life, and I felt it was quite sad. He sort of had his honeymoon at the end of the year, and he had just lost his I suppose, purpose in life, his motivation in life. So he came to us really, I feel, like a shadow of himself, and I've been working with this gentleman in relation to his anxiety and problem solving and routine, and also fatigue. And Chris has been working with him from Nexus point of view. And it's nice to say, he's come back to us saying that he has, now gone on his honeymoon, which he didn't feel he would be able to go on because his anxiety levels and fatigue were so high. So, we do make a difference to people's lives, and this patient was so thankful that, his goal of going, traveling abroad with his new wife. And, when you hear stories of that, it really makes a difference to us, I think, as clinicians, and what we've done. Because I think the biggest thing for this gentleman was that having to live with prostate cancer, and I don't think we as clinicians, realise the impact of sometimes just living with it and being able to manage the side effects, and to have it. You can always have a good quality of life, even if you have to live with prostate cancer. And that his story, I think, was so powerful to us, because I think we got him through it, and yes, he's given us loads of positive feedback.
So one of the patients that were involved in our virtual group consultation said one of his ambitions were to get back on his bike. Now, whenever he would do any form of physical activity, he would end up leaking some urine. So that was one of the areas that we needed to try and focus on, is try to improve on his pelvic health. So we initially focused on giving them some support around their pelvic health, and what we found is he was able to improve on that, and he was able to control his continence a lot more when he was exercising. And as we said, one of his ambitions was to get back on his bike. Now, he did have an indoor bike that we could use. So this was really interesting, because he moved on to some one-to-one sessions with me, and I ended up coaching him to do some indoor bike sessions to try and build his fitness up. And he did eventually go back on his bike to do cycling outside. So again, we're just meeting his needs. We helped improve his continence, and in that he was able to get back out doing exercises, which not only good for physical fitness but also really good for well-being as well.
So we started off doing these groups, and I don't really think we realised how far it would take us, really, this virtual service and doing virtual groups. We were fortunate to be accepted by the Bevan Commission in May to look at scoping the prostate cancer Prostate Active Care Team service out to GP surgeries, and from the Bevan Commission, really, we were given the opportunity to talk about how we're running the virtual groups and how it's benefiting our prostate cancer patients in Hywel Dda out in Belgium. So yes, we had the opportunity in May to go out to Belgium to present this service, and it was a great opportunity. We managed to have some really positive links with, we spoke to people from Sweden, we spoke to people from Canada, America, and we had a lot of interest, I feel, you know, in the group sessions that we were running. And yeah, the response we got was fantastic, I think. I don't think we realised how much of a response and how much of an impact we'd have, you know, globally. But as I mentioned, I think we had, 10 days to prepare, and we just thought, oh, we'll just go, we'll, you know, give it a go. And I do feel our service was quite, you know, it was quite new, it was quite upcoming, and a lot of international people and stakeholders were really interested in what we were doing and really interested in how they could move their services out in different countries virtually as well. So yeah, fantastic opportunity for us.
Thanks to the success of the service as well, we actually have been shortlisted for an award. So we are due to go in a few weeks to the Patient Experience Network National Awards, which is in Birmingham on the category of patient cancer experience. And I think that's just a testament to all the hard work we've put in, all the support that we've been able to give patients. And it's just another success for the service that we have provided here in Hywel Dda.
Okay, I think my top tips would be give everything a go, because I think, you know, I think in the NHS we're very protective of not changing things. I think give things a go, because for us, virtual groups has worked really well. Another top tip is be ready to change and adapt. So if you first don't succeed, you know, change, adapt, because in the end things will work out. That's what I've learnt. And my other top tip is that admin is essential. Admin is essential to, I think initially we didn't have admin to support with some of the patient queries, and admin, I would say, yeah, is essential to any group.
So my top tips, I think I'd have to echo what Helen said, to be honest. Again, admin, there's no, there's no, you just need them. Like, they're just so helpful in trying to organize in the running and to try and make these virtual group consultations as smooth as they can be. I think the other thing is just get used to working virtually. So some people may not have done too much virtual work, is just be confident. It is different, but just have the practice. And do you know what? At the beginning, you might not be as confident, but that will just grow over time. And the more groups you do, the more confident you'll be, and the more you'll find you flow. I think one of the things that you don't want to do is make it look like you're reading off a script. Just have an idea of what you want to say and just let it flow naturally, because that just puts everyone more comfortable. That would be my top tips.
I think my parting thought would be that patients can be their own experts in their own conditions as well, and we need to remember that. I think initially I thought we would be there to support the patients, but I have learned that giving patients a platform in a group environment with other patients at the same stage, they can a lot of the times support and problem solve their own problems and others' issues as well. So they're very good advocates for their own health and well-being.
My parting thought would be, I think it's really, co-production is just so important, just engaging with other services that are available. Obviously, we've got our areas which we can help in, but I think it's important to make those connections so that when questions are asked or when other support is needed, you've got the answers for those for the patients, and you can set them in the right direction. And I think it's just so important that patients have options, that you can say this is what we provide, but also there's other areas that provide this, and the patient just need those options for them to understand themselves where they go, where they want to go in their own care. I found absolutely fantastic value and rewarding of being in a virtual group consultation, engaging with patients and seeing them engage with one another as well. It's just such a great feeling to have, to be able to help people in this way. And another thing, it is so key that we try and pick patients up as early as we can in their diagnosis. The data shows us, and the work that we've done with the patients, we've seen the outcome. So when we can get people before surgery, get them moving more, get them exercising more, get them eating better, get them losing weight, get them doing all these things, it just creates such better outcomes for them. And there's so many things that back that up, but we know the patient stories are coming back to us. They thank us that after their surgery, their symptoms are not as severe as some of the people that they've spoken with that didn't have that kind of intervention. And we've also had people ourselves, you know, who we've come through midway through their journey, and how much they wish they would have come to us sooner. And I think that's just so powerful, that the earlier we see people, the better we can make their outcomes.